going to elaborate on this system where I was talking about axon or axions, okay, and the microneutron star in the middle of a black hole. What's inside a black hole? All right. The microneutron star cannot explode, so it sheds its energy at the axion poles through Hawking radiation, which is the heat, and obviously the energy that seeds the universe to create another singularity. All right. The quasar, the galaxy, is the largest known singular structure before the universe reverts back into plasma on a macrocosm. Okay, so you have your axion axle, which is the matter input, the equatorial line. Okay, that's right here. Okay, see, this is your axion axle. All right, and this is bearing 0. Ironically, a dream is what told me this stuff. You don't have to believe me, but literally, I woke up with this in my head from whatever was telling me, and I woke up and started drawing it down. So a black hole is pure strong force for order. This is what creates the order. Now you have to have this alpha, this strong force, to create any kind of order in the universe. So if you do not have this alpha or this strong force, then you do not have order at all. Just like when it comes to electromagnetism. Beforehand, there was no electromagnetism. Okay, it was only electrostatic, because electromagnetism is uniformity. If you have no electron uniformity, you do not have electromagnetism. Okay, you only have electrostatic. You only have popping and crackling. And as I've said before, there are only 3 primary factors when it comes to space. Knowing how space operates, you have to just know these 3 primary factors. There's the primary factors of space. There's the product, which is matter and energy. And there's free movement. That's it. Your degrees of freedom is right there. So you only have 3 primary factors. Now you have all kinds of individual factors. Okay, there's infinite individual factors. But all of those individual factors only correlate to 3 primary ones. And that is space, which is always there. That always exists. You cannot erase space, and you cannot create space. It is literally there. It just is. Okay? Then there's the product, which is now matter and energy. But before our universe was born, before the singularity, it was only nuclear and electric energy. It was only potential energy. Okay? First law of thermodynamics, cannot be created nor destroyed. It always exists inside infinite space, which always exists. So you have space and your product. Okay? Then you have it moving. It's never stationary. Nothing in space is ever stationary. Everything is free to move. Everything at all times. This is Zeta mechanics. Now I put this together. I call it Zeta mechanics because my dad always drew technology. He always drew Aztec technology. Aztecs and Indian warriors, but they always had like armor and ray guns and all that stuff. And he always called it Zekmex. Okay? Zechmechs. So he called it Zekmex. And I just thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll name this Zeta mechanics. All right? So I looked it up to see if there was anything called Zeta mechanics. There's not. But there's Zeta potential. And ironically, Zeta potential, if you look it up yourself, describes everything that I'm talking about right here. Okay, matter is being crushed into energy. It recedes space, pseudoscalar. Self-sustaining closed system, okay? Now when I was talking about Zeta mechanics, Zeta potential, that's the potential energy. That's this trying to form another singularity. That's literally this Zeta mechanics, this energy becoming a singularity. Okay, when it's forming this singularity, as I've explained in another video, this is where we start getting our bosons and gluons, our vector bosons, and all of this stuff. I mean, literally, the Z boson, the W boson, the photon, gauge bosons. This is where all these other particles come into play. Now, we're sitting here banging particles together in this Hadron Collider, which is pointless. All right, we've already figured out everything we can figure out. What they're getting there is everything that happened before the Big Bang. Yes, they're right. They want to figure out what happened before the singularity. They already know. They already know. Why aren't they putting it together? Why am I the only one putting this together? I'm sure there's somebody else putting it together trying to explain it, but everybody thinks they're crazy too. This is where all these bosons and all this stuff comes into play. Because before the singularity, all this stuff is going down. There's no electromagnetism yet. There's only electrostatic, like I was saying. There's only crackling and popping because there's no uniformity. Okay? And the nuclear energy the same way. It's all coming together. It's all coalescing. This is where you get string theory. This is where gravitons come into play. Okay? This is where everything's starting to form. And this is where all these bosons and everything comes into play to form the Higgs boson. Okay, the scalar boson. This is the scalar field. Okay, that's why it looks like plasma. If you look up scalar waves, you'll look at it and it looks like plasma. It looks like electricity or plasma, I mean, obviously. This is the scalar field. We can't see it, but we know it's there. This is part of the microcosm. This is where the pure energy comes into play to be able to form a singularity, the first cell in the universe. Okay? It's not a biological living cell. Well, actually, it's not biological, but it's living. It's a living cell that ends up birthing into a universe. Okay? So this is the Higgs boson. Now, they say, oh, well, they found the Higgs boson. Look, you know what? This thing is heavy. The Higgs boson is heavy. They found a particle that they think is the Higgs boson, but surprisingly, it wasn't as heavy as it was supposed to be. Okay? That's not the Higgs boson. That's a mirror of the Higgs boson. Like I explained in another video, you can't get something that has already happened. We're not going to be able to see it if it's already happened. We're only going to be able to see what mirrors this, okay? We're only going to get a shadow of it. The true Higgs boson, the God particle, already gave birth to the universe. It already happened, okay? This is Lorentz transformation right here. Look up Lorentz transformation. You'll get everything that I'm talking about. We have all the information, but nobody's ever put it together. That's what I'm saying. We have all the information. I'm not adding anything. I'm not making anything up. I just know a lot about physics and have had a lot of information stored in my head that I've literally crammed in my head over the years that literally coincides with all of it. With science, physics, religions, all of it. It's all connected. And this is a part of it. Okay? So literally all the science that we have with Lorentz transformation and plasma and the bosons and all of this stuff, we already have it. We don't need to keep wasting our money and time with these damn particle colliders. Okay? Now, since we have the information, we can start applying it in a different way. And that's what we need to do. But all they keep doing, what? They're trying to build another one now, another particle collider, even bigger than the other one. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're wasting money. They're wasting time. It's redundancy. That's all it is. If they would use their head and quit and just get their heads out of their friggin' asses and start putting together the information that we have, they would figure this shit out. Now, ironically, pay attention to Google. I guarantee you'll see something saying, oh, now we figured it out, blah, 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 after I upload these videos. Because I swear I'm being followed. I swear. Now, I could be paranoid. But everybody calls me paranoid when I'm laying down facts all the time. Okay? So if I was paranoid, it'd be all in my head and wouldn't be real. But the stuff is real. Okay? So I just want to know how I'm not how I'm paranoid. Because I don't think I'm paranoid. I just think I'm pointing out and stating facts that are obvious that people just don't want to believe. And that's why they call me paranoid, because the truth hurts, or people are scared of the truth, or people fear the truth, or they fear what they don't understand, and they hate what they fear, and that's why people act like douchebags a lot. So I'm just throwing it out there, like I said. Now, this is the concept of a warp drive. I'm just throwing this out there, all right? Imagine you have a boat with a sail, and you have a window fan, or a box fan, just like that, a box fan on it, blowing the sail, all right? But you have an onboard power source, okay? Now, you have this blowing the sail, which is pushing it, all right? At the same time, you got something pulling. So the air is literally, the intake is pulling here and pushing here. So literally, it's pulling the craft and pushing the craft. This is the concept of a warp drive. Now, you're going to use electrons to be able to do this, but you need an electron cushion here. So when you create an electromagnetic field around yourself, around the ship, or around the craft, you're literally going to push the craft with electrons. Okay? That's the concept of a warp drive. Now, it might not be a warp drive per se, but it is I call it an electrocellular, as in cell, S-A-L-I-L-U-L-A-R, not C-E-L-L-U-L-A-R, not cellular like in a biocell in our bodies, electrocellular spacecraft, okay? So the electrons are literally pushing the craft. You're creating a magnetic field, which would literally, but of course you need superconductors and all this, the concept, cold fusion, which is in the pyramid, the Ark of the Covenant, all that, Alpha and Omega, blah, 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 all right? I'm just throwing all this out here, okay? This is this concept of how we would actually have propulsion system a viable propulsion system that we could actually travel in space with. We just need electrons, but we need nuclear and electric energy together to create this craft, okay? With the power source for this craft, okay? So it's not as hard as people would think. It's the concept, okay? We understand, well, we warped the space around us and all this that propels the craft, but we don't understand exactly how that would work. Well, you're not necessarily warping the space per se. You're creating a system here that creates a warping of space. You're not deliberately warping space Warping space is a byproduct of what's happening here. See what I'm saying? You're not deliberately warping the space itself. It's being warped by the craft whenever you do this as a propulsion system. So all you need is just the concept. And yes, this is just a rudimentary concept. You have your air sucking in here, which is pulling the craft. You have your fan, which is blowing the sail here, which is pushing the craft. And you're using the same thing in an electromagnetic way right here to propel the craft, using electrons, because electrons can travel very fast and they're powerful. So if you can literally push it with an electromagnetic field, you can literally propel a craft, no problem. Especially in a void of space, where literally there's no resistance at all. Alright, concept of a lightsaber, okay? Now, quartz, we know the properties of quartz. It has very special properties, alright? Piezoelectric, triboluminescence, literally it glows whenever you tap it together. If you rub it together, it glows, alright? Now, if you have a fusion generator right here, alright? Now, this is like P-type and N-type material, okay? If it's made of quartz and it's doped with fluorite, then it's going to literally want electrons, alright? Now, if you are creating this fusion process here, now this fusion process, though we might not hear it, it's very loud, almost like a dog whistle, okay? That frequency is going to be felt by this quartz, and it's going to glow. This is literally a lightsaber. This thing would literally reciprocate. It would be able to break molecular bonds, alright? I'm just throwing this out here. This is a true lightsaber. It's not a toy like we have these toys. This would be a literal lightsaber. The light would come through here and glow in this quartz whenever you activate the button or turn it on, whatever. Create the fusion, okay? It's not as hard as people would think if you understand how to create a fusion process, okay? You can literally create a lightsaber. But you need superconductors, okay? You need the right elements. You need lithium, carbon, and fluorite. And of course, you need the quartz, all right? These are subsonic frequencies going down in here. That's why this is going to glow, okay? It's like a micro resonance, okay? Heat and energy is going to literally come right through this quartz, this blade. So you have your fluorite. It's almost like a heat sink, and it's absorbing this energy because it wants electrons. Fluorite is the most electronegative, or fluorine is the most electronegative element on the periodic table, okay? It wants electrons. It loves electrons, okay? But it's a gas. But you can dope quartz with fluorine and create fluorite. So just throwing that out there. I'll make a video that explains it a little bit more, but I'm just giving you the skinny down of it. You have to have a thermoelectric generator, basically.